So I want to turn this car into a rally car. Some more on that later on. But right now, we're loading up this transmission because, as you guys know, I have a 3rd-year grind. That was one of the problems with this car, along with a head gasket and a broken rear axle. Completely destroyed this car last time I took it out. Head gasket has been going out. It's pushing coolant for quite some time. But right now, we got the transmission out. Got the head off. Probably would have been easier to pull the whole swap out. Let me get this thing loaded. It weighs approximately 104 pounds. I just weighed it. And it is not fun to handle. An all-wheel drive B-Series transmission. Let's go get it in the car, and we will be on our way up to TransLab. So I will catch up with you guys as soon as I get it loaded up. All right, so like I was saying, I would like to turn this car into a rally car, an all-wheel drive, 500 plus horsepower rally car, because they're the ultimate street cars. Because if you think about it, these rally cars are street legal. They have to be street legal, and they have to be pretty much, you basically should be able to drive it daily, drive it pretty much on the street, although it wouldn't make a very good daily. Only thing I'm not doing, it's not going to be a full-on rally car because you have to run a catalytic converter, I have to put a smaller turbo on it and pretty much turn the car down, put a restrictor, and I don't want to do all that. So, and probably re-gear the car with shorter gears, and I'm not really wanting to do that, but it's going to be a rally, pretty much a rally-inspired car. It's going to be capable of driving in the dirt. But we will get to that in the future. It's not something I'm going to do tomorrow. It's going to be something that I do long term, although it's getting a rally spec cage in spring. So anyway, let's just get back to putting this car back together. And I will see you guys when I get back from my 2.5-hour mission to drop this thing off. All right, so we got back from TransLab around 12:30. And unfortunately, the transmission is not going to be done because there were some issues with the case that has to be machined. The transfer gear was rubbing on the inside of the case, so that's going to be going in the car hopefully Thursday. So right now we are transmissionless, I guess is a word. But today I want to install the clutch. We got our twin disc clutch right here. Let me go ahead and grab that out real quick. This is the Clutch Master 725 twin disc. Should be plenty. Got it with the flywheel. Damn, that was nice. Oops. Now we also opted for the hydraulic throwout bearing, which I'm pretty stoked about. Apparently gives it a pretty nice smooth feel inside the car, so we're not struggling too much with this twin disc. It was definitely something I had to think about. There was a couple other options that were a little cheaper, but I just had to go with one that's proven. Also, it is made in USA, so I'm excited about that. So I'm going to go ahead and clean up the flywheel bolts. I got a couple of them already brushed nice and clean. I say it's time for a new battery. This drill is getting hot, burning my titty. God. Toasty. So you guys kind of get the point. So I just went in and chased these. All right, while this is all drying. Whoa, I'm too zoomed in. All right, while that's drying, we can take a look. Inspect your rear main seal. Before I cleaned it off, there was no signs of the rear main seal leaking. Any kind of oil was either from something leaking up top of the motor or some grease or something being splattered around as the transmission rotates. So I'm not too worried about it. I aired it up or sprayed some air on it. It cleaned up pretty good for what it was. I'm not too worried about it looking absolutely flawless. It's going to be behind a bell housing. We can take this time to kind of inspect everything, make sure nothing's leaking. I did replace this rear main seal before, so that should be good to go. And these threads are nice and smooth. You have a B series Integra Type R crankshaft that you do not want to eat the threads up on a crankshaft that you cannot find, really. That's a big deal to me. So while, like I said, that is drying, we're going to go ahead and read the instructions for this clutch, see what we got to do, and we are going to start the install process. We're going to torque the flywheel to 87 foot-pounds because this is a thread pitch for the flywheel bolts, and we are going to use red Loctite. And then for these bolts, the cover for the twin disc, aka pressure plate bolts, whatever you want to call it, we're going to torque it to 22 to 24 foot-pounds is what it says on their website, using blue Loctite. Doesn't say specifically use red Loctite, but I've never had a problem using red Loctite, and I do not want this flywheel coming loose on me. So I'm going to go ahead and spread these parts on the ground because I'm completely out of space everywhere you look in this garage. And I'm going to go ahead and clean everything with brake cleaner, including the face of this pressure plate and this floater plate is what they call it. And we're going to put that back together, and we are going to torque this flywheel onto the car, starting probably do some even maybe like 30-60 and an 87, something like that, and install these components, and we will be done. Definitely was a good idea to wear some gloves. Once that dries, you're going to take the piece that's labeled B. Was labeled B. It says pressure plate side. Hub side goes down. Or what do you want to call it? Hub. Whatever. Oh, there's a mark on that still. Line your Sharpie mark up. I wonder if this still has the mark on there, maybe. Hopefully I can kind of see a faint mark. That'd be nice. Oh, you can. Right there. Hell yeah. All right. And flywheel side, side D facing up. And line up your marks. Right there. Sweet. I'm assuming it's the stuff they put on there when they package it, so it doesn't rust. Alright guys, now that we got that all cleaned up, it is time to put the flywheel on. So we're going to go ahead and throw this flywheel on, torque it to 87 foot-pounds using red Loctite. I do want to blow out these holes one more time, make sure they are all dried and cleaned. Then we can go ahead and throw that flywheel on. Alright, let's put this pilot bearing in. So we got some Moly Graphite assembly lube. We got our pilot bearing. Some slippery shit right here, guys. We press the bearing from the back because there is a lip on the front, the pressure plate side of the flywheel. So go ahead and drop it right here. Right, that was fun. Now that I got this all cleaned up, I'm gonna have to probably wipe it down one more time because of my greasy ass hands touching it. But we're gonna go ahead and put this flywheel on the motor, on the crank, and I went ahead and blew out the holes one more time. Some more excess degreaser came out, some moisture came out. So we're going to go ahead and get this, grab one of the 2 bolts that I Loctited just so I can get it started. And I'm going to finish in Loctite. I'm going to Loctite the other 6 bolts, and we're going to finish up torquing this down. Oh, they're too long. No, maybe not. I mean, it's pretty tight. Alright, so it looks like it does tighten up. Flywheel is not flopping around. Just the threads got a little stiff at the end. I wouldn't be shocked if that were the case if I had to go buy new bolts for it, judging by how dumb I am and judging by how not so good this kind of installation is going, because I don't know what I'm doing, but also I am just crammed in here. No space, dude. These hammers can probably go back, make a little bit of space there. Ugh. Anyway, so we're going to go ahead and put some red Loctite on the rest of these. We're going to go ahead and torque them down, get that flywheel all finished up, and we're going to get the remainder of the assembly on the car. Blue Loctite, 22 foot-pounds, and we are done with this clutch. Alright, so we got the assembly on the flywheel. Just one bolt holding it, so just to keep it up there, I'm going to go ahead and throw some blue Loctite on these guys right here. So one thing, when you guys are putting on the flywheel bolts, do not use an impact gun. I can't stress enough. Because what happens is the heads are so thin when you get them tight that it will strip the head of that, and you are pretty much screwed, and you do have a big old mess. Now you got to extract that bolt. If it's not, I mean, if it's already tight from the impact gun. So just go ahead and hand tighten them, torque them. We torqued it to 87 foot-pounds. I started at 30, 60, and 87. Right now we have, like I said, assembly on here. We have one bolt just kind of holding it in place. So let's get some Loctite on these guys, some blue Loctite, and we're going to torque it to 22 foot-pounds. I already have the torque wrench all set up for it. So the head of these bolts is an 6mm. Alright, same deal, tighten by hand. And torque. And I went ahead and removed that one bolt that was a placeholder, put some Loctite on it. And we went ahead and left the clutch alignment tool in here so the splines stay lined up. All right, boy, that is done. I'm gonna clean this off one more time. Just make it look nice and fancy. And that, my friends, is a twin disc installed in my all-wheel drive B-Series. I've never done a twin disc. It wasn't very difficult. Just a couple little minor things that I had questions about. But other than that, guys, we got the clutch installed. This is the first time you're doing a twin disc. I've done multiple regular clutches, but I think it turned out pretty good. I'm excited to try it out because we have a hydraulic throttle bearing to go along with it. This fits on my clutch line. This is the bleeder side. There's that little fitting right there. That's next as soon as we get the transmission back. It looks like all my tools made it. Made it out alive. Oh, got a lot of stuff sitting here. So I'm very stoked to get the car running. So that's going to do for this video. If you guys like what you guys saw, go ahead and subscribe, like the video. If you guys want to see this car finished and gapping things, like and subscribe. Well, subscribe. Keep watching these videos, and I will see you guys in the next one. Oh, and if you want to see an all-wheel drive Civic rally car, go ahead and hit the subscribe button.